Okay, our pastry has been in the fridge and chilled now for, well, this is chilled for about an hour. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the filling for the rhubarb pie and let that kind of sit and let some of the juices get drawn out of it. And then while it's sitting, we'll roll out the pastry and start assembling the pie. So first things first, we've got this gorgeous rhubarb. Now, rhubarb, it comes in all different sizes, obviously. The fine, thin rhubarb is usually the sweetest. They're the ones that I go for first. As they get bigger and older, they're a little more tough and a little more stringy. So when you have a choice, always try and get the thin, sweet rhubarb first and foremost. The best type of rhubarb to grow actually is called strawberry rhubarb. There is wild rhubarb out there that you don't want to make a pie with, you don't want to touch, but the strawberry rhubarb is always my favorite, and it's not only pretty, but it's nice and sweet. For this pie, what you need for your filling is you need 5 cups of rhubarb, you need 1 cup of sugar and 1/3 cup of flour. And you also need about a teaspoon of orange zest. Orange just really brings out the flavor of the rhubarb, and it just gives it a really nice contrast. Okay, so we're going to top and tail each of these stalks of rhubarb. This is a 4-cup measure, so we're just going to go at that until it's overflowing, and we should be good. Okay. Just a rough chop. They soften up nicely in the oven because this pie takes over an hour to bake. So it's just a nice rough chop. Now the thing is with rhubarb, when you're chopping it, I've been running my knife all the way through, but if you don't run your knife all the way through and hard, you get the strings and it holds the pieces together. So you want to make sure as you're chopping your rhubarb, you go down and run your knife right through, hard pressure, so you don't get the strings. It's a lot like celery in a way. I'm just going to keep going until we get our 5 cups. I used to sit and eat this stuff at my garden. My dad would grow it, and he'd go out and sit with a thing of sugar and eat the rhubarb right off the stalk, off the plant. This recipe was my grandmother's recipe. My dad was raised in a little town called Seabright in northern Ontario, just outside of Orillia and outside of Rama. And she used to, in the summer, she was a school teacher, but in the summer she would have fishermen come up from the states, from the northern Midwest states, and they would come up and fish. So my dad, as a young boy, would take them out and be their guide, but really he was just the one that put the bait on for them and whatnot. And my grandmother would do all of the baking and cooking for all of these men, and my grandfather would clean all the fish and whatnot. But she was an amazing baker. She would do rhubarb lattice pies and banana cream pies and sour cream raisin pies. She and my mother were the two that got me hooked on baking and cooking. Now rhubarb, if you do grow your own rhubarb, the trick to it is to constantly be picking it, because if you let it grow and let it get big like this, it gets tough and it's not as nice to eat, and it'll stop producing after a short period of time. If you keep picking your rhubarb every day or every couple days and pulling off what you need, it'll keep producing. It'll keep producing all summer long. So we have our approximately 5 cups of rhubarb ready to go. I'm using about a 9-inch pie plate. You could use, just adjust accordingly to whatever you need. All right, so I'm going to put my 5 cups of rhubarb into this larger measure just so I can mix it up a bit. I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar and 1/3 cup of flour to act as the thickening agent. Now, it calls for 1 teaspoon of orange zest. A teaspoon of orange zest for your average size orange is about half of the orange of the zest. So I just zest it right into there. It's about half. So now just mix this all up and let it sit. while we roll out our pastry.